Hey guys, Alisha here with Terradrift, and we are stoked to be bringing you the ultimate guide to maintaining your gear. Specifically outdoor gear, obviously. Because we see way too many people just chucking perfectly good gear, and simply because it has a little tear, or the zipper is a bit sticky, or it doesn't repel rain like it used to. But there's good news. You can totally save your cash and keep stuff out of the landfill that will never properly decompose anyway, just by showing it a little bit of love. To show you how, Gear actually sent us a box of goodies so we could give you the full rundown on taking care of your gear. And that starts with washing. Did you even realize you can wash pretty much all of your gear? Yeah, like all of it, from tents to sleeping bags to rain jackets and just about everything in between. Now, you do have to be careful about what you're using to wash those items. The detergent you use for the rest of your laundry isn't likely gonna cut it for most of the stuff, but you can definitely wash almost all of it. And depending on the gear, there's a wash just for that. So our favorite washes from Gear are this Revive-X Pro Cleaner and this re-waterproofing wash. They also offer a down wash, but as vegans, we avoid down, so we don't really have a lot of use for that. But if you do have a down jacket or sleeping bag, that's the stuff you want to use. So get a package and wash your stuff occasionally, at least a few times a year if you're using it regularly. Once a year at the very minimum. You might be surprised at how much loft gets restored when you wash your sleeping bag, or how much better your rain gear performs just because you washed it with like just a gear cleaner. So if rain is the problem, say your rain jacket or tent fly isn't repelling water like it used to, sometimes all you need is a good wash with this Pro Cleaner, which is good for jackets, tents, sleeping bags, you name it. If you use this and it wasn't quite enough to restore the water repellency of your gear, the next step is to run it through a load with this re-waterproofer in the softener dispenser. It'll recoat things like outerwear, even cotton or fleece, with a fresh, durable water repellent coating so your gear functions like new. Take a look at the before and after shots we took with our rain jackets. Like, this stuff totally made a difference. And I didn't even feel, honestly, like my rain jacket was underperforming. Maybe a smidge if I spent hours and hours out in the rain. I would start to feel a little damp on the inside of my jacket, but after washing with the Pro Cleaner and then the wash-in water repellent, totally see a huge difference, which I'm stoked about. However, if it's your tent that needs waterproofing, you'll want to use a little something different. A lot of times you're not supposed to just chuck your tent into the washer and dryer. A lot of manufacturers recommending hand washing. I think maybe you could get away with it in most cases if you put your tent and fly in like a lingerie bag and wash it on a delicate cycle. But the dryer I would avoid for your tent most of the time. So you use a spray. Gear makes this waterproofing spray for stuff like tent flies. Just spray it on, wet or dry, and let it dry. And you've got a fresh DWR coating in no time. I will say that after washing a fleece zip up with the wash-in water repellent, it did have sort of a weird feeling, like sort of coating it a little bit, but it'll be really interesting to see if that goes away or if we totally don't care because now our fleece is waterproofed, so that's cool. Now, we all have that one bag with the zipper that's always sticking, right? If it's because of some of the teeth are missing, well, you'll probably just need to replace the zipper or have it repaired. But if it's only sticky because you spent too much time by salt water, or it has just a lot of dust and gunk stuck in the teeth, then you can probably clean it and lube it with some zipper lubricant. Here's how you want to use it. This is my favorite Osprey day pack, but as you can see, the zipper is really stiff. And also very dirty. So we're gonna clean it up because it's really hard to use these pockets when the zipper doesn't run smoothly anymore. So I'm gonna take this zipper cleaner and the lubricant and just sort of dust it off a little bit. I'm gonna open it back up, dust some of the teeth. That's just what it says you're supposed to do. All right. And now we're gonna open it up, close the zipper, and squeeze this on and brush it as we do. There we go, it's starting to come out, so I'm just gonna brush it onto the zipper like so. Close that guy up, and then pull it back and forth. It's already opening and closing much more smoothly. than it was before. But by opening and closing the zipper, we're just really working it in there. I'm gonna put a little bit more on there just for good measure, because this guy's real sticky. Ah, much better. There we go. Zipper, lubricated. If it's a hole or tear in a tent or puffy jacket or sleeping bag that's the problem, Gear Aid makes all sorts of patches for this kind of thing. I mean, this exact thing, which is great because we noticed when we were cleaning our tent that there was actually a small tear in the fly. Easy fix. So I'm gonna grab one of these patches. Gear Aid has pre-cut small ones that you can take with you on the trail. They actually also sell rolls of the stuff so that you can just cut your patches to size. Plus these fun shapes almost make me want to poke a hole in my puffy just so I can put Bigfoot on my jacket. This patch kit has a Bigfoot and some stars and a pine tree. Oh, and a squirrel. There's a squirrel. So we've got, you know, shaped patches, and these little things are great for backpacking because they're already in a little container that you can just shove in your backpack or in your day pack and always have patches on hand, and they weigh very little, and there are just a couple of them in there in white and black, which make it super handy. But the little tear we have on this jacket, it's just a little hole, so we don't need a huge patch. I think we're gonna go with one of the little sticky pre-cut ones on the sheet. So to do that, and these are weather resistant, so these are gonna be fine if it rains, if it snows, whatever. They have some nice little circle ones on here that are actually just the right size, and this is super easy. So you just want to make sure the fabric is clean first. Peel off one of the sticky patches. They're self-adhesive, makes it super easy. And just stick it right over that hole, like so. Make sure you press it on really well. Seal it down, especially the edges, with a thumbnail or something. If you've seen our other patching video, you know that if you're gonna cut your own patch, you should round the edges so that there aren't corners that'll easily peel up. But there you go, boom, patched jacket. Just like that. So like I said, we also recently found a tiny little tear on our tent fly, so that needs patched up. The last thing you want the tear to get worse on the trail. So these in the Gear Aid kit, in the little hiking kit here, we've got a couple of different kinds. The ones that look white are actually clear seals, and the black ones are more of like a fabric, I don't know, finish, I guess? But we're gonna use a clear one because I feel like a big black rectangle on this tent is gonna be a bit much. But we're gonna take this guy. It's a little big, but I'd prefer it to, you know, be a little bigger than too small. Just gonna peel the backing right off. Again, you wanna make sure that the surface is clean and dry. And then we are just gonna seal it right on there. And since it's clear, you probably won't even remember that it's there most of the time. But again, we'll seal it down really nice and hard with the edge of my thumbnail. There we go. And we have a patch. And that totally takes care of the hole in our tent fly. But what if the coating of your tent is peeling or sticky? Those areas are harder to patch, and like, what do you even patch if it's not a hole? But if water is leaking in at those points along the seams, or your fly just needs to be resealed, then this tent fabric sealant should be your go-to. So here's how you use this. So we have this old tent that we don't use much anymore, but we didn't want to get rid of it because our backpacking tent's really snug. So when we just go car camping, it's nice to have a slightly larger tent. However, we've got like seam tape coming off, and some of the PU coating is peeling a little bit on this fly and on our tent floor as well. So you grab this tent fabric sealant, give it a good shake up. If you're restoring like the floor of your tent and the PU coating is peeling, go ahead and peel off any excess that's already coming up, and then you can use this stuff. So remove the lid, and then you'll press it down and squeeze, and it'll start coming out. And I'm just gonna seal up some of these seams because the seam tape is already coming off anyway. And this way we can just peel off all of this stuff and still have waterproof seams. You'll spread a thin, even coat to the inside of the item, not the outside. So that's the inside of your tent floor or the inside of your fly, not the outside that's in contact with the ground or the ring. You're just gonna spread it on and let it dry. But this can be used on 85 square feet of tent floor or fly, so that's quite a bit. Seams can be a bit tougher to manage, but you can totally do it. You can use this seam sealer though on tent seams, tears in sleeping pads, even rain jackets. My rain jacket has a pocket seam that has come unsealed. So let's figure out how to fix it. So for this, we're gonna have to go inside out, which is a little more difficult with this because it doesn't really have an inside because the coat is lined. All right, so here we go. As you can see, this whole seam has kind of come undone. It's a mess in there, but we're gonna try to fix it because this is a decent rain jacket. I kind of like it. Okay, since I may have a hard time getting the tube in there, I'm gonna use this little brush to just get right in there. I'm gonna paint it right over the edge of the zipper, if you can see that. Right in here, where the seam needs resealed. Okay. And then we are going to press this down so it more or less hits the right spot. Maybe tricky, let's find out. And it seems to be sticking. And to continue sealing this, to give it an even better seal, because this is a sealant, you know, not just a glue, we're gonna carefully paint it on the outside, being extra careful not to get any in the zipper, because that would suck. There ain't no amount of zipper cleaner and lubricant gonna get that up. And we're just gonna tape it down to hold it while it dries. So ideally, you'll tape the back of the area shut so the tear is held together, then fill the hole or tear or seam or whatever with the seam grip, painting it on past the edges of the damaged area for extra holding power, and let it dry for 8 to 12 hours. Then remove the tape and voila, seam sealed. But this stuff also works if, for example, your sleeping pad springs a small leak or it starts to tear. You can just paint this on over it. You can use it to seal together small tears in your sleeping bag, in your sleeping pad, in your tent, anything that needs sealed shut and that maybe tape you don't think will work as well on, or in hard to get to places. Tent seams as well. And anything that's, you know, like coming apart that shouldn't be. Boom, seal it. And then store this stuff in the freezer. I don't know why, that's what it says, science. That about wraps it up, guys. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, family, and anyone who's ever tossed a perfectly good piece of gear, and make sure to subscribe for more gear reviews, instructional videos, cool destinations, and sustainable adventure. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Terradrift, and head on over to terradrift.com for all sorts of helpful travel and adventure content. Thanks for watching, everybody, and wander on.